I've tried. That's all I got.
That's just Merman. Oh, Merman.
I love Merman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what
I
his
could show you
anus
guys.
is like. Just wet and clammy and cold.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't have anal sex with a merman, listeners, friends.
Why not?
It just won't be good for either of you. Jonathan Holmes.
Yes.
You and I.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, all of us, actually. There's no reason to exclude anyone from this. This is
You mean Conrad?
Yeah.
Okay.
And all the listeners.
Oh, them too.
Yeah. We got to talk about the David Boreanaz situation.
I've heard of him. He's got a square head and he's on bones. Right? That's all I know.
That's almost his entire biography. That you've pretty much read the novelization of David Boreanaz's life. He was also, of course, and this is where I will know him more, is he played Angel on the hit Joss Whedon TV show Angel.
Yeah, that's a show.
Which I've been watching a lot of, because I watched Buffy too many times. I never really bothered watching Angel. So I've been watching Angel. And naturally I've been thinking about Dave Boreanaz a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Only trouble is I could never remember his name properly. Because it's not a usual name where I'm from, in the United Kingdom. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be name-o-normative and suggest his name is abnormal or wrong in any way, Jonathan. But he's the only Boreanaz I know. And I couldn't even remember his first name was David. So, for a long time, I knew it was wrong, but I just took to calling him Matt Borealis.
What? That's completely different. David's not a hard name to learn, is it?
It is when it's next to Boreanaz.
Matt?
Whereas, I don't know where it came from, but for a long time I just decided, and consequently, of course, I stopped calling Angel, and I started calling that show Matt Borealis. And I stopped calling the character of Angel, and I started calling that Matt Borealis. So now, instead of I'm going to put on Netflix and watch Angel, I say I'm going to put on Netflix and watch Matt Borealis stars in Matt Borealis's Matt Borealis starring Matt Borealis.
Like Aurora Borealis? That's so different. And you drove it home in so many different ways. You just inserted. Yeah. Well, you are a content creator by nature. I think it's hard for you to just absorb things other people make. You add to it.
I'm too selfish, and I don't think of others. You're the psychologist. I believe on the DMV, on the personality DMV, we call it narcissistic personality disorder.
They actually just put out the new DSM. It's very confusing. But enough about that.
Is narcissism on it? Is what else is on there? What else can I have?
Still boning up on it. It's a lot of things that used to be personality disorders are now what they call Axis 1 disorders, which imply that you should be able to treat them with medications, I think. I'm guessing that's driven by doctors wanting to be able to get paid to prescribe more medications to more people. So in the past, you couldn't treat an Axis 2 necessarily with medications because they're thought. I don't know. I'm just talking.
I used to like going through the DSM, picking what ones I want, because you want the ones that make you interesting, but not like proper mental.
Right.
So yeah.
Ill. Right. Okay.
You know, it's like, do I want antisocial or not? Do I want that? Because it does make you sound dangerous, therefore possibly attractive, but it also just makes you sound dangerous.
Well, yeah, I mean, those are the people that they write books about how they're the worst people.
Exactly. So yeah. I decided I definitely want narcissism.
Well, that's not a good one.
I'm going to have that. And I'm trying to think of like dual classing it, like maybe a prestige class when I've taken enough levels in narcissism, then pick one of the others and kind of combine the two and keep all the feats and traits that I've kept from narcissism, and then move on to something. Maybe if I took half antisocial, I can't remember any of the others. Was bipolar on there?
No. Bipolar is Axis 1 because
All
it's
right.
got the biochemical treatable thing, whereas
I,
Axis 2 is like
I
hardwired.
legit thought I was bipolar for a while, and then I saw a therapist, and I went, "No, you're not." I was
A lot
more
of
or
people
less
think
"No,
they're.
you're not. Get out
Well,
of it."
it's very common. People hear bipolar. It's like, well, sometimes you don't feel the way you want to, and you want to have more energy and you don't, or you have too much energy when it's not. That's me. But
Exactly.
that's just every human being.
It's a
When you're
lot easier to say that than just say I'm a fuck up. I blew it. If it's a choice between admitting you blew it or I've got that disorder there, the one
exactly.
the one that I saw some GeoCities web pages on and it said they're creative. I'll take that. I'll take the good bits of that. I don't want any of the bad ones. I'll have that.
And autism. A lot of people are so sure they have autism, and when you tell them that they don't, they get really mad. Like I knew this, like really muscular Asian gymnast who would want you to come over her house and talk to her about Nintendo games, and she wouldn't want to talk back. She would just sit there and be like, "Tell me about Nintendo games." And you're like, "All right, DuckTales, good game. You hop around." She's like, "Tell me more." And she was convinced she had autism, but she was just really weird because she didn't have any symptoms of autism other than just like, "Tell me about Nintendo games. I've got huge back muscles." She'd flex them sometimes. They looked really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I miss her. I think she
That's cool.
married someone I know or something. So,
So to bring us full circle,
yes,
back to the Matt Borealis thing.
yes.
I've been what's the word? Harassing is not the right word. For for what I've been
Sure.
for what I've been doing too. In fact, two sounds bad as well. What I've been doing with
Mm,
Dave Boreanaz, star of television's Angel, and subsequently Bones. I've been sending him messages on Twitter. I try and do it once a day,
really?
petitioning him to change his name to Matt Borealis because it'll just be easier for me. Because to me, he's Matt Borealis now, and it would make all our lives a lot simpler if he just decided. Because it's like, okay, I mean, I could try and learn to start calling him David Boreanaz a lot more, but bit lazy on his part, waiting for the mountain to come to Muhammad when he should come to the mountain. I am a mountain in spirit. I am his rock.
He doesn't know who you are. You are a man. You're just yet another man hurting him from a distance. I can imagine there's so many of those already in his life, but it's like him thinking, career's going okay, I guess, but I never quite hit that Tom Cruise level I was hoping for. Maybe one more season of Bones. Go on Twitter, hopefully somebody likes me. I don't know, and then just that man again. You should become Matt Borealis, you fool. And I'm like, oh, nobody
I didn't
responds to
call
me.
him a fool.
You didn't?
No, I was very kind to him.
Really?
I invited him to my dip and sauce and shrimp soiree.
That's yeah.
I sent him a message the other day that just said, "Just thinking of you." That's not wrong. I was thinking of him. I think about Matt Borealis slash David Boreanaz every day.
Okay, it still hurts. It hurts when a man wants another man to just do something different. Like as you know, I was a little snippy with a Podtoid listener today who just thought he would tell me how I should be with you, Jim.
Yeah, some people seem to forget this is a show.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, and that's great. We have their suspension of disbelief
I thought he was going to
tightly
say
in our hands.
I was going to say suspension of dildos then. Which, to be honest, we ought to take them off them if they've got them because they can't be up to any good.
Yeah. Yeah. What the dildos?
Mm-hmm. A dildo in the hand of a Podtoid fan is a bad thing.
Probably, but he felt genuine sympathy for me. I think, or not. I don't know, because if you felt genuine sympathy for me, you would probably email the person who is, in his mind, bullying or pushing me around, which would be you, and say, hey, don't push Jonathan around. But that wasn't it. He was tweeting me saying, you should, get Jim back and twist things around and show him who's boss and things like that. Which it seemed kind, but he didn't notice that I enjoy doing the show, I guess. Do I seem that miserable on the show?
Well, he seemed to think that, he later spoke to me and asked why, and again, not accusing me of anything.
You're completely in the clear.
I'm the one, imposing the will with the show. But no, it was very much, why does he let you walk all over him? To which I responded, for the same reason why Mark Hamill, quote-unquote, allowed David Prowse to cut his hand off. But that's interesting. A lot of people have sympathy for you. They believe that... I think they think this show is a document of things that are happening. Like, I really have made you kill a dog. Or I really have put worms in your ass and stuff. Oh, I've had more ideas with worms, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Those are always so gross. Worm is gross, period.
Yeah.
There's no not gross worm. They're all gross. Even the cute ones are a little gross. But you come up with ideas for fun on the show.
Oh, because I always think you're going to be into them.
Right, and I hear them, and I'm interested in them, but it is, for me, and this is not a character, I truly am sad at the ideas. But I also enjoy watching Sophie's Choice. That makes me sad. I like a roller coaster of emotions. And you always provide those.
Exactly. I'm like your own little tiny David Cage parrot that sits on your shoulder, just whispering, Polly want a cracker.
What a weird parrot.
It would be a terrible parrot. I'm imagining, bird body, red and blue and green feathers, and just David Cage's face just on top of it. Too big for the parrot. It's kind of lolling off to the side a bit. Drool constantly coming out of one side. Just, I'm David Cage, the parrot. Shiver my timbers.
Does he entertain you with a story of sad, wet people, or?
Well, it's David Cage. He does nothing to entertain you.
He must try, though. He does sincerely think that the shiny-skinned polygon people having a drama is gonna make you feel something.
Oh yeah. He thinks that.
But when he talks, he just wants a cracker.
Cracker, yeah, because he can't overcome his parrot nature. It's
I hate to cut you off, but where's Conrad? Is he on the show?
He's always with us in a way.
I'm here. I don't. What? What do you want? I just
wanted to make sure you were there. I like you, Conrad. I didn't want you to not be.
Well, okay. We all have our faults. Nobody's perfect, but I'm trying not to dwell on them.
I consider Conrad increasingly on this show as a kind of Eye of Sauron type figure. just watching constantly, and then when needs must, just subtly guiding. It's a good thing.
I'm writing an email, honestly.
Oh, that's okay.
Conrad's busy.
I am busy.
He's doing the work.
I am.
Oh yeah.
I don't like it because then that means I end up doing a bit of work.
That's right.
I hate doing that.
You wrote a cool review, though. Everyone's talking about it.
No, they're talking about other reviews in it. They've gone mental in that thread. There's like 500 comments on the Ride to Hell review.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so fun. What's bringing that on?
10% of them are about Vanquish. 10% of them, and partly my fault because I was just really pissed off because I had to talk about Ride to Hell, and that just upset me. I played it all day. Put me in an awful mood. People brought up Vanquish, and I started stirring the pot.
Why the heck would they bring up Vanquish? The scores are different, the games are different.
Because they're them. Just people letting me know that my opinions are shit. And I was just spending a little time this morning just replying to everyone with various plays on boohoo or wah 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 wah. And that kicked off things, people arguing. Someone was asking, well, I'm reviewing something like this. Do you not look back at your Vanquish score and weep? And I'm like, no, the game is subpar. And that got people really upset again. So that happened. And then there's another separate chain in the thread of people arguing about Bayonetta, I think.
What?
And another separate chain where people are just discussing Daikatana. None of it makes sense anymore. I gave up hours ago, but it's still going. Just 500 comments and counting of people, and no one's talking about the game that the actual review is for.
Is the game out?
Clearly, nobody cares about the game, nor should they.
No, they fucking shouldn't. Oh my dearie me. I sent a message to Deep Silver on Twitter. Within like 15 minutes of playing the game, which I had to buy myself because they're not sending review copies out. So I dropped $30 on this thing. Within 15 minutes, I was sending a message to Deep Silver with my question of what made you think charging $30 for this was okay. Also, how fucking dare you?
And that's it? Just question mark at the end of that?
Mm-hmm.
And did they respond?
No.
No.
I think they're trying to pretend it doesn't exist, the game.
Well, I'm imagining that the people who made the game are pretty distanced from those kind of emails. Those emails are going to the handlers, the PR people, the community manager people, who are probably pretty sad that the game turned out that way. And they're just kind of left holding the bag, frowning, the bag of poo with a frown. And then you're like, that poo smells. And they're like, we know. We know. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a fucking,
so what can they say? Yeah.
It's awful. It's it's themed in the. It's set in the 60s. I think it wants to be Kill Bill, but it's not. You're like a biker who's going after bikers because they killed your stupid brother. Main character looks like a cross between Kurt Russell and Stretch Armstrong, and you do motorbike riding, which tries its level best to be road rash, but it's not. Because basically you ride this bike really slow, it just tootles along big brown roads that all look the same. A bike comes near you in slow motion, and then you've just got to mash a button. You just mash a button, and then a little bar fills up, and then he kicks the person off the bike, and then another bike comes, you do it again. Then there's like button mashing, there's brawling combat, and awful gun sort of combat. The kind of, like, it's PS2 original Max Payne, like that. It looks like that as well graphically, like the textures just... I've never seen that many screen tears on a game at one time. Normally, you move the camera or something and you'll get a screen tear, just like one running along the screen where it just rips a little. Here it was like up to 10 tears at once on everything. Anything moving, it just flickered with textures phasing in and out of existence. Like they don't belong in this reality.
That sounds almost good.
That's the thing.
Like, as an effect, if you were to go into the TARDIS or something in the biker world, and woo, but that's just how it looks when you're driving down the street?
Yeah, it's mostly bad in cutscenes. When you're driving down the street, it just looks like a piece of shit. And then, of course, the casual misogyny in there is fantastic. All the main characters who have any element, any agency in the plot are male. All females. I think I bumped into before I gave up, I think I bumped into about 5 or 6 women characters. Only one of which was dressed in real clothes. The other ones all just bras and Daisy Dukes. Always. Their only influence on the plot is to be fucked. That's what they do. You get some of them who are almost like the guy in the saloon and brothel that we were going to have in Boston. Like, literally saying things like, I'm going to get what I paid for. Like, just big, like 3 fat men around this woman who is, again, in like a bra and Daisy Dukes. They're all surrounding her, just, I'm going to get what I paid for. And you go beat up the men. And then the woman gives you, presumably, what they paid for. So it's essentially shoplifting what you're doing.
She has sex with you then?
Fully clothed sex. In silence, while this little whack, wacka, wacka, wacka music plays. And none of the two, like, the main character or the woman, none of them are talking or making noise. And she's just gyrating up and down on top of his buttoned jeans. The one woman who is wearing anything approaching real clothes, she's wearing full-on overalls, like a full-on mechanics jumpsuit. And she's just bouncing up and down on the man's jeans. Nothing could be happening there. Neither of them could be getting anything out of it. But that happens, and it happens constantly throughout the game, just this constant thing. And because that's what women are in the world of Ride to Hell Retribution. They're just, as I said in the review, just walking fuck boxes. That seems to be the message of the fucking piece. That seems to be the theme of the day, is that. Just women, just constantly, oh, I know how to repay you. Waka waka wow, sexy.
Dry humps are painful. I don't know if you know.
Especially with all the denim. It's bikers in the 60s.
Yeah, exactly. When you've got like 4 layers. No, you're going to get a pinch. You're going to get a chafe, maybe even a friction burn. You're not going to get an erotic moment out of that.
It took me years to get over my problem with touching denim with my hands.
What? What problem is that?
I don't like the texture of denim.
Interesting. It's like a kryptonite type deal?
It makes my hands feel weird, and it makes me think that the denim's going to pull all my fingernails back. Like, off my fingers.
Oh, ouch.
I've gotten over it a lot over the years, but I've never liked the feel of denim. Always given me a weird little, like the feeling one gets when if they're eating an apple and they feel their teeth squeak on it.
Oh yeah, I suppose that's not the best feeling.
Oh god, I feel awful now. I'm thinking about that.
So denim like underwear.
I'm thinking about straws now. Like when you drink on a straw, like you put a straw in a drink and you drink it. Sometimes when I'm drinking out of the straw, I imagine the straw being sucked too hard and hitting me in the back of the throat. And then I can't stop thinking about it. And then I can't drink anymore. Or watch others drink. What the fuck is wrong with me? It sounds all right when it was in my head, but now I'm divulging.
It's your creativity knows no bounds, Jim. This is your problem and your solution in your life. You know, you imagine the denim doing this to your fingernails. And what can you imagine denim tidy whities right now or tidy blueies?
Oh god, that would be
about the blueies.
There's no stretch in them, and I need everything to stretch because fat. Oh, I know what you're doing. You're doing what that man said.
Turning it around?
Turning it around.
I did theorize what it would be like to turn it around.
I can see it coming.
Really?
If you try and turn it around, I will turn you around.
What does that mean?
Oh, I think you know. Get a good old look at that bum of yours.
My bun?
Your bum.
Oh, bum, B-U-M.
Your bum.
I thought you just wanted to see my one bun.
No.
Like, on the side of my butt.
No.
Just an isolated buttock. Just stare at that.
That would be good.
That would also be good?
Yeah. I'll tell you what else would be good.
I've
made your dreams come true, Jonathan.
You have?
Yeah, hear me out on this, right? I had this idea for you that will be good.
Okay.
Your very own television series.
Again?
When did we do another one?
You
were on MTV's Road Rules.
Yeah, I considered myself the star of the show. Sure.
Which we've never exploited for gain.
That's boring.
Yeah.
But anyway, you want to do another TV
It's time for your comeback.
Okay.
I think the people are asking for it. Where's Jonathan Holmes, they're saying, when they're watching Matt Borealis on Netflix. They're saying, yeah, Matt Borealis' hair looks good, but we'd like a man with less hair on his head. Where's Jonathan? Why isn't he playing Buffy when Buffy does a crossover appearance on Ain Hell? Huh? That's what they're saying.
I am the anti Matt Boreanaz.
Exactly.
Borealis? Yeah,
Matt
I am.
Borealis,
That's
yeah.
bad, because he's a handsome, full head of hair hunk, and I am a shabby, flabby, bald, boring
I don't know.
Man.
I mean, in 2013, you and him are kind of meeting more in the middle now. Nothing.
He's gotten a little softer over the years.
He's still very handsome, though. I
He
must say.
is.
He's
He's a
still.
good-looking man.
He's turned it into a rugged look now.
Well, what it is Nathan Fillion should be looking at David Boreanaz and thinking, that's where I need to get to.
Huh, interesting.
Because there's only so much time that pretty boy thing's going to work for him, I think.
Yeah.
Fillion?
And he needs,
Well,
Yeah.
Fillion is, he's a man's man, is my understanding. And men don't tend to be as critical of when they're, well, that's not true. Anyway, before I...
Well, and
get off my-
Boreanaz moved into directing and producing, and he does all sorts of other stuff. He doesn't have to, and then he stars in Bones.
Yeah.
So he's done very, very well for
He's a big
himself.
fan of hockey.
That's true.
Do you guys think that when heterosexual males look up to other males, as they do with Borealis and Fillion, that they don't have to look good for as long, that they can start to let their looks go a little bit, and the young men will still look up to them? Young men love that. Robert Downey Jr. They think he's amazing, and he looks kind of messed up. He looks like he's been hurt a few times. I think they're allowed to let their looks go, those gentlemen.
Well, he looks like he's been to rehab a few times.
Yes, he does not have a fresh face. He's got some crag and some depth
Well, I think
craters.
culturally, men are allowed anyway to look a little weather-beaten, to look older, to look, less graceful, less polished, and obviously there's a lot more pressure on those who are not men to be pretty all the time and forever young and stuff.
Sure.
It's impossible to do, Jonathan. We can't be forever young unless we have access to technology. But tell you what we can do, though. Star our own detective TV series.
Okay. No. Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Right? I was thinking about this. Obviously, the show would already have a bit of a gimmick, a bit of an angle, because of your detective past. As you know, you solved the Black Dahlia murder case very famously. You were the great mouse detective in real life. You remember that, Jonathan?
I know.
You did your tumbling act?
No, I don't. What happened?
When you revealed that Steve Buscemi was the Black Dahlia killer, and then you did tumbling for an hour on a stage, and Bill O'Reilly wet his pants because he was so impressed.
Really? That sounds a little familiar. Like in the imagination. It sounds like a pretend time, but not a real time. No.
No,
right?
it definitely happened.
Yes, this absolutely happened. For real.
Don't spoil it. This is what I need to tell HBO
Okay.
to get this to happen. Because Game of Thrones is in its off-season, so we're going to get you in there. That sounded more insulting than I intended to. Because I genuinely mean it. We do need you to be like the buffer. Get you in before the Breaking Bads comes. So we got to move fucking quick. So I'm pitching this new TV detective drama series. It's going to be in the same vein as your Columbo, Jonathan. It's going to be in the same vein as your Monk. It's going to be in the same vein as your Dick Van Diagnosis Murder. It's going to be in your same vein as Murder, What She Has Done. It's going to be in the same vein as Cadfell. It's going to be all this and more. And that one about the vicar priest man who solved some crimes for a minute in between giving a sermon.
Okay.
Right? Are you excited? It's going to be one of those. It's going to have some comedy. It's going to have some sex. It's going to have some thrilling mystery. Every episode. All the time, forever, until we die. It's called...
Yeah.
Now, this is where we're going to raise heads with the executives. It's called Soda Baby.
What? How can that? Who's Soda Baby?
You are!
What?
Obviously.
I mean, Monk is called Monk because the man's called Monk. Columbo's called Columbo because the man is Columbo.
Kojak was Kojak.
Kojak absolutely was Kojak. Murder, She Wrote was Murder, She Wrote.
She was... No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Soda Baby is Soda. That's the theme tune, by the way. Soda Baby. And then the titles come up, and then the show starts.
Is that French accent?
Soda Baby.
It's evocative. It makes you feel like
The
you're chewing on...
Adventures L'Erotique of Soda Baby.
Did you say erotique?
L'Erotique
No, I don't know about that.
of Soda Baby. It's not erotic. It's not a straight translation. You know, erotic. We're thinking, ooh, I'm a bit turned on watching this.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's what it means, I think.
It's for the house husbands and the housewives who are at home with baby, at home with make a house clean, while the working man or woman or a dog goes out and does the office work.
A working dog?
Yeah, because these things always come on, at least in the UK, these shows would come on like the afternoon. Early afternoon, watch a bit of Columbo. I was unemployed for a long time, I remember it. And, you know, the terminally unemployable will also enjoy Soda Baby. Soda Baby. So the general gist is, you know how Kojak had his lollipop, Columbo had his dirty Mac, Dick Van Diagnosis Murder had his moustache. You will have your own sort of look. Your own sort of, what's the word? Presence. So that when people see you come in, they're like, oh shit, Soda Baby's here and I've gone and committed a crime. This is Hugo Weaving playing a villain. Ah, shit. Ah, fucking hell. Soda Baby's coming and I've committed a crime. Shit's gonna get fucking serious, mate.
Is that Hugo Weaving from Priscilla, Queen of the Desert? I like
know.
that Hugo Weaving.
I don't know if he was in that.
He was. He sounded like that in that a bit.
I've only seen
that
bits of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
It's okay. It's got Zod and Agent Smith being flamboyant, fun-loving female impersonators. I think they call them in that movie. Yeah, it's not bad.
So anyway, you waddle onto the scene of the crime.
Mm-hmm.
Wearing a big adult diaper, right?
What? Why?
A 2-litre bottle of soda under your arm, and a hat, and a detective's hat. A yellow Dick Tracy hat. And you waddle on, and you're like, nah, watch the crime, boys. And
Why do I talk like that? Nobody talks like that.
yeah, you've got a cigar as well. Watch the crime, boys. And I'll be there as Chief O'Leary, just, oh, Soda Baby, I'm so glad that you've come top of the morning and Blarney Stone, Limerick. There's been a murder. That naughty Hugo Weaving's got into it. There was a witness to the crime, and he'll tell you all about it. And Conrad is there as Stoopy O'Lucky, who saw it, and he's all like, oh, yeah, I saw the crime, Chief. No, that's Hugo Weaving. Conrad, help us. I don't know why I'm doing an impression of you.
I saw that. Honestly, I barely understood anything that's been said in the last, 5 minutes.
Really? It seems really straightforward.
Like,
I'm a man who dresses like a baby.
I think it's just the European accents. My ethnocentric American brain can't process them as actual words.
Okay, well, in this scene,
I saw the body.
There we go. Yes, your body, okay? That sounds. It sounds like somebody was murdered. Jonathan!
Huh?
You're gonna have to do it!
I'm gonna have to finish the Soda Baby pitch?
Be Soda Baby! Have a conversation with Conrad, find out the crime.
Okay.
Do it as Soda Baby!
Soda Baby talk like, "Nah," right? So tell me about this crime scene. Who's the guy who did the crime? Thoughts, I guess.
I have no idea. I just saw the body.
Oh, playing hard to get, are you? Time for me to drop these drawers and show you what I can do. And then I pee in the soda bottle. And then shake it up. And then spray it all over him for a pea soda combo. Show him what I can do. Soda Baby's signature technique. I don't know. This is.
I'm going to call actual police now.
And then at that point in the episode, it's like, looks like another job successfully done by the Soda Baby. And at that point, and this happens every episode, you roll onto your back and kick your feet up in the air, your bare feet. Actually, you can wear little booties. You fall backwards, like tumble backwards onto your back and kick your booted feet up in the air. Unscrew the soda bottle and just pour it all over your face and bare chest. Kicking while going, go, go, gaga, and go, go, yay. While bras fall from the sky and cover everything.
Bras? Like brassieres?
Brassieres. They just fall, and music is like, bah, 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 soda baby, soda baby.
It wouldn't be a hit. People hate a man who acts.
I think the bras are going to be a hit. Because that's.
Well, we'll do like bras.
There's a reason for it, because, like all good detective, gritty, urban crime thrillers, adds an element of sex. But. Because we take great pains not to be objectifying sexist bastards, we don't want women there just being a piece of meat for Soda Baby to pour a bit of orange soda on. So we just throw brassieres down so people look at the bras and think, oh, that's a lovely fucking bra, that. Oh, come here, Marjorie, have a look at these fucking bras. I'm in the right mood to have sex tonight now. And it gets them in the mood, makes them feel sexy. Because they're looking at loads of bras. And some of them are falling on lampshades and on fire hydrants and on the police.
I'm more curious about poor Marjorie is what I'm thinking. Some guy's like, come here. I want you to say something that makes me hot. It's just some bras, Well,
it's a married couple in the north of England, Marjorie and Frank.
So she's just like, oh.
No, because Frank's watching this. Oh, I was watching this episode of Soda Baby. And I've got, there's Soda Baby, played by Jonathan Holmes. He's kicking his legs, he's got little booties on his feet, he's covered himself in orange soda. And I was like, that was a satisfying conclusion to another crime noir thriller. Then I saw all these bras all coming down. And Marjorie's all like, oh, well, I don't normally like to watch this kind of thing on the television, but them bras are proper horny. Come here, give us a kiss on my vagina. I don't mind if I do.
That escalated quickly. She's also turned on by the bras.
Loves the
bras. She could just look at her own bras.
The bras are a big hit. She hasn't got any.
She doesn't wear them.
Had to sell them all because of Obama.
In Northern England?
Yes.
I didn't know Obama's power. Well, I don't know. Maybe he is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always hard to know how powerful the president is. Cause
Obama goes out into his back garden and puts his fingers in the dirt, in the ground. And then the fingers pop up in England and grab all the money.
I didn't realize he was taking the money. I thought he was just making life worse.
I don't know, he just takes all the money and just throws it into the sea with little stones tied around it. He goes out like Dexter on a boat in Miami and just puts them all in trash bags and throws them in there.
Because it's what he thinks is right?
Yeah, the Bay Harbor broker.
Hey, you got an Ouya too. I'm envious. I haven't been able to get one. They are not in my... Your ribs hurt?
It's laughing too much.
And what? I was impressed that you laughed. That's good.
I had got out of my chair and ran and punched a wall. It was too funny. Yeah, I got an Ouya.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wrote about it too. You
They were only
have.
sending one to Destructoid.
Oh, I didn't even
It
expect
was a
the rest.
toss-up between me and you.
Oh, that's very
I
nice. I
made a
did,
selfish call.
and I didn't know you
I
made the call.
practically had it rerouted. I was like, fuck someone getting something when I've got something to say about it. And then I
Well,
felt bad about it because you could have had a free Ouya.
well, even I can't even buy one. I pre-ordered it at GameStop. They said, "Oh yeah, it's coming out on Tuesday." Still hasn't come. They're like, should be in one of these boxes," and it's just not. Only one Best Buy in the state of Massachusetts has one, and it's in a place that's very hard to get to. And I've been busy with day job and projects and stuff, so I haven't had 3 extra hours to drive around Massachusetts this week, and just hoping the pre-order comes in, but no such luck. And you wrote about it, and it sounds like you want to like it, and you like things about it, but
Yeah, it's
the
weird.
hype kind of defeated it. It seems like if it had just come out of nowhere, like there's this new thing, here you go, people would have been like pleasantly surprised it existed. But
Maybe. I mean, as a curio, it's nice to fiddle around with it, and it reminds me a lot of those 100-in-1 game controllers that you plugged into televisions
oh sure,
like 10 years ago that had illegal versions of Mario Brothers on it and stuff. You get them in market stalls. Except it doesn't have 101 games on it, because as soon as I downloaded the Bard's Tale, I practically couldn't download another fucking game.
because the memory was all used up.
Yeah,
Or?
yeah. And
Oh.
the message is, like, Ouya tries to be casual about everything.
Mhm.
So it sends you a message that's like, oh, hey, I know this is hard to believe, but you don't have room for any games. Why don't you try downloading some you haven't played in a while? Which sounds friendly and very, the kind of thing you expect from modern technological companies these days. Of all, hey, I'm in an office, but I'm wearing a sweater. Sue me. That kind of thing.
Mhm.
Hey, sure, Chinese manual labor pays for all the plastic that we've put in this thing. Sue me. Don't in that case. That kind of casual sort of, hey, look, I know it says executive VP, just call me Chase. That kind of fucking shit. But it's very annoying when you've had the Ouya for a day, and it's like, hey, look, I know this is hard to believe, but kind of full up there, son. Why don't you delete some of those games you haven't played for ages in the 2 hours you've had this thing?
How much
Yeah, it is a
onboard
little
memory
fucking
is
hard to believe, asshole.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like an insult rather than what they want, which is friendly, not scary kind of thing.
Sure.
But yeah, if you get any of the big graphics intensive ones, your shit's got very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much space is on it. I mean, the Bard's Tale. Let's see. I downloaded Bard's Tale. May have been like a gig or something. Then I had to go in and buy it, because you can only download demos from the store. So I booted up the game, then bought the game, and then it said, oh, by the way, got 3 more gigs for you, son. Once I'd spent the money. So I got 3 more gigs for you, sunshine. Open up, I'm shoving it in. And in it goes. Interesting that it was like, do you want the high def version or not? And it takes longer. I went for the high def one foolishly. I lost an entire review day because it spent a whole day downloading it. So once that went in, I mean, that was like all told 3.5 to 4 gigs of a game in there, and that was almost my lot. I've got like maybe between 8 and 10 games on there at the moment. Bard's Tale, and then like just a load of less graphically intensive ones, and it's full right now.
I'm very confused though. Which Bard's Tale is this? Which giant Bard's Tale?
It's the one that was out, years ago, and it was on iOS and Android more recently. So it's sort of
The original Bard's Tale from like the Commodore 64 days?
not that one. No. The one that was like, I forget when it came out, maybe early 2000s. It was on for definite PC and PS2.
Okay.
Carrie Elwes and Tony J voicing in it. It's not that funny. Really tries to be. Oh, I'm killing rats in a cellar. This is an observation I'm making about it. But it's a fun little game, actually. I never gave it that much of a chance back in the day, and I've been kind of enjoying playing it again. But yeah, my problem with Ouya is that, like, it's a cute little thing. It's an adorable little box. And I really want to like it, and I want to be up for it. And you know, it's this open platform, open for garage developers and indies and all this stuff. It ticks so many boxes. But as I wrote the review, I realized I had literally no one good thing to say about the system at all.
You didn't have tons of terrible things to say. You were like, it is cute. It has some games. There are 2 games that I like. The controller is bad. But you can use PS3 360 controllers sometimes with it.
Yeah, I've got a 360 controller in there now.
How's that working?
Well, the funny thing is I found the lag to be unnoticeable in menus and shit, and only really bad in, like, when a game wanted you to be really precise and use quick timing. Sure. Like when Deep Dungeons of Doom gets harder. Excuse me. But once I put the 360 controller in, I was like, holy shit. It was really laggy in menus as well. Just the change, the difference in pace and how snappy the responses are with any other controller except the one built for the fucking Ouya is incredible. So if you do get an Ouya, you've got to just plug in a wired 360 controller or Bluetooth up with a PS3 one. Anything but the main one, which is a shame because the main controller, as a layout, is nicely designed. It's nice. Just awful. Funnily enough, someone tested the Ouya controller on a PC and said it worked great. So it's like the Ouya controller just doesn't work with the Ouya, and the Ouya works with any other controller. And that was really disappointing for me because it's like I've got this Ouya, and the only real way to get the most out of it is to hook up an external storage device and a third-party controller.
But it does work with external storage devices, though, doesn't it?
I haven't actually tried it yet, but people seem to be attesting that it can.
Okay.
It'd be kind of weird if it couldn't, to be honest, considering how little room is on the actual system. So there's that. The fact that many of the games just don't work properly, even ones that I know work because I've played them on mobile devices and stuff. You know, one of the best games on there is Wizorb, and half the time in Wizorb, the characters it's just controlling itself without me having any input.
What?
Happens in Bard's Tale as well. Like sometimes he'll just wander off of his own accord.
It sounds funny. It sounds thoroughly interesting. Like whether it's and for $99, I'm guessing that it's not that painful to have to deal with little technical problems. But it makes me wonder if they should put out a $175 or at least $150 version with a better controller and more onboard storage. If people would buy that, I have a feeling they shot too hard at trying to win everyone over with this really cheap price, and as a result, weren't able to put out a product that's $99 these days in this economy. That's like I can get 5 cheeseburgers for $99. That's incredibly cheap. And it comes with a controller and everything. It's very, very impressive. And free games too. Super Crate Box is free on there. I've just heard, and I'm kind of excited about just buying it for no reason and playing it on TV, which I haven't done yet.
So it's a weird situation because I spent the entire review basically tearing it to pieces and had to end it with I still do kind of like it. I like it even though I spent a long time just swearing at it for the past few days, just cursing it out and shouting at it, and just being annoyed, especially when I turn it off using the controller and then watch, Matt Borealis on Netflix and then come back and realize the Ouya turned itself back on.
Why? They can do that?
Apparently, at least when you try and do it from the fucking piece of shit controller, it got to the point I just plugged it out, I yanked the wall socket out. The plug out of the wall socket because I was just annoyed with it. So, it's got problems, many of them. I'm not sure how many of those problems firmware will solve. Hopefully a lot. But nothing will change the fact that Amazing Frog is on its marketplace.
Yeah, I saw a picture of that, but I haven't played it. What's it like?
It's basically a copy of the Saints Row insurance fraud minigame, where you throw yourself at cars and then get flung into the air and let physics do the rest, and you get scored on how high the jump is, how many things you hit, that kind of stuff.
Sold.
Except the thing is, where in Saints Row it worked, in Amazing Frog it doesn't work.
How is that? What? It's so simple.
It's just really, really shit. And yet I couldn't stop playing it and hating it. I hate Amazing Frog, and I love almost all frog-related things. So that's a thing.
Still got to play it though. Seems like.
Oh yeah, I mean.
Is it a profit deal? Does it cost money to buy?
I think you it tries to have the goal to put in-app purchases and stuff in it, but
it's really funny.
It costs nothing to download it, and
oh, okay.
I think what it is, you can pay money to rewind. I don't know, but it costs nothing to download because everything's got a demo on Ouya, so just download it and play it until you hit a paywall. I didn't hit any noticeable paywall while I was playing. Just the wall of my own tolerance for the inane and the worst. So it's one of those games where I'd say if you are getting an Ouya, you do need to play Amazing Frog. Not because it's good, but just to experience the broken majesty of Amazing Frog.
It sounds like kind of the face of Ouya right now in a way. It's like, this is fun, it knows it's dumb, it broke, and we're sorry. But here it is. We got you a broken thing that you can like, because it's different.
That's basically the Ouya for you.
Yeah.
We brought you a broken thing.
Have you played a bit of Fist of Awesome yet?
Awful game.
It seems like
you know what?
Be good. Yeah?
Just being kooky and ironic isn't enough.
Not at all. There's so many.
It's not enough.
Yeah, it's got to be fun to play physically.
It's not.
Play, no?
It's like, oh, haha, he's punching a deer. That is funny. Don't get me wrong. And it's funny when I do a jump kick and he goes, oh! It is funny, but if it's married to, what's the correct word? A fucking piece of shit, it kind of undermines itself.
Sure, I don't think they intended it to be terrible. I hope not.
So far, I mean, the best games on there are things that are available elsewhere, and
sure.
Better. Deep Dungeons of Doom is free on iOS right now, and it's easily the best game on the Ouya, as far as
have you played Towerfall?
I love Towerfall.
Seems fun.
Yeah, again, I think that's available elsewhere.
That's the one I think they might have secured it for at least. I think so.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, Towerfall is exclusive. I was talking
at least for now.
I was talking about Nightmare Tower.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Definitely get that one on if you don't have any other device for it. That's actually a game on Ouya that works really well.
Nightmare Tower.
Yeah.
Huh, okay. Done any emulation on there?
I've downloaded some emulators and had a look. I've not really had time to full on put ROMs and shit on there to try it. And
Sure.
It's an interesting idea. I think that's what a lot of people under the counter are into.
Yeah, I would imagine. I have so many old Commodore 64 games that I can, in my mind, publicly say I'm going to emulate because I do own the floppy disks still. They're just a little wet and melted for having them for 20 years? 25 years, I think I've had some of those.
A long fucking time.
Yeah, they still exist. And
Play me some Dizzy Prince of the Oak Folk.
I've heard of Dizzy, but Dizzy wasn't as hot here in the United States. We were busy playing Mail Order Monsters and Racing Construction Set and other EA games that existed when EA was like a small up-and-coming company that was...
When they were indie.
Yeah, they were basically... They wanted to take the Rockstar prestige that people got from indie rock and roll music and apply that to video games, and all their boxes were like record albums with like interior art and stuff and pictures of the actual game developers in there. They tried to give a face to game developers.
Oh, that's why it was called Electronic Arts. Because it was a focus on the art and the artists. Yeah.
My, how things change.
Yeah. I couldn't have been a more perfect origin for EA.
Yeah.
Just perfect.
Well, you become the thing you hate eventually.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah, I suppose I have. So,
yeah.
I should do the Podtoid questions.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to talk as well. This weekend I went to the Screw Attack Gaming Convention.
Oh, I didn't even ask. What a dum-dum. And you did a panel with Adam Sessler, and you saw Craig. You saw good old Stuttering Craig. You had fan interactions. Tell us all about that thing.
It was good stuff. Went to Dallas for the weekend. There, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Met a lot of fans of Destructoid, of the Jimquisition, of Podtoid. There were quite a few Podtoid fans there.
Oh, that's nice.
Met a group of them who wanted to eat steakums with me.
Oh.
But they wanted to insist that we'd call them steak thems, which I found wonderful. But I was supposed to meet them, and actually we were going to go eat steak, but didn't get the chance to encounter them again, sadly. But what else did I do? Met Lisa Foyles, Movie Bob from The Escapists. Lovely to see them. Always good to see Bob. Fans were fantastic. A lot of people wanting me to phone up their friends who weren't there, take photographs and sign things. Like they actually had an autograph session for me, which I just felt weird. And like I was being arrogant, like it was my idea. Like I turned up and said, right, I want to do autographs. And that was cool because someone gave me an Animorphs book to sign, which made my day. Just sliding an Animorphs book across the table. Can you sign that, please? So that was fun. Met Adam Sessler for the very first time. And then, like, a minute after I met him, we had to go do a panel together. So it was like our first meeting was this big public panel. And that was a lot of fun. Sessler's really cool. And we sort of bounced off each other really well. Had very similar ideas and interesting debates where we disagreed. And a guy went round the crowd with a hat, and people would write down just one sentence or one word and put it in the hat, and the hat would be brought up to us, and we'd pick one at random, and then we'd talk about whatever the subject was, like some sort of hot topic, controversy, one was about Cliffy B, one was about DRM, one was about the Xbox One, etc., etc. And that was cool. Someone had wrote Chungus.
Oh.
And we drew it from the hat.
What did he doesn't know about Chungus, does he?
No, he doesn't. And that was a magic moment to have Adam Sessler turn around and just be like, now what is Chungus? And I had to explain it. And then to the crowd, it was a very full room, Jonathan. Mm-hmm. I'm going to estimate hundreds were in there. Oof. I talked about your Chungus, Jonathan.
My Chungus?
I said that Jonathan Holmes has the most beneficial Chungus of all, and there was a rabble of Shattered in the audience who applauded and cheered, and they were very happy that I said your name, and I explained what Chungus was, and I explained Podtoid, and said, I do a show with Jonathan Holmes and Conrad Zimmerman, and it is fun, and we talk about Chungus, and Willem Dafoe, and people were clapping, they were really happy. It's good Podtoid fans in the crowd. That was cool. So yeah, the panel actually is online somewhere. I think there's a YouTube video of it now. So it's worth looking. That was fun. It was a good event, and I'd like to thank everyone who turned up, be they fans of the Jimquisition or Destructoid or Podtoid or whatever. Thank you for saying hello and doing a thing. It was a lot of fun.
What did Adam have to say about Chungus?
He just wanted to know what Chungus was, and I explained it.
And then it was just moving on after that.
Yeah, we moved on.
What more would need to be said?
Yeah. I would react, probably.
Made fun of David Cage.
That sounds funny.
I did an impression of him, as usual. And talked about Willem Dafoe being the devil. It was fun.
Oh, that sounds good. I wish I was there. Would have been fun. Maybe next year.
Yeah. Well, I actually tried to get them to ship you over, Jonathan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because we were talking about having someone from Destructoid there as a member of Destructoid, like covering it. and stuff. And there was talk of maybe sending Chris or Dale. And I said to Craig, I want Jonathan Holmes there, and I want his hotel room next to mine. And she was talking about maybe arranging it, but nothing came of it. So maybe if we do it again, we can have you shipped over and do things.
Sure, I will go on a trip. I will not be shipped and over and do things, but I will go and have fun.
Yeah.
Should I didn't mean to jump to questions so quickly. I felt like a jerk. Do you want more time before I ask the questions?
I don't know. I mean, I know what we could do.
Yeah?
Quickly, because people were fucking whining last time. Oh, the show's too short because it's not exactly 2 hours. Fucking hell.
Was it? It didn't start at 2 hours. When we first started with Max and Tara, it was like an hour and a half, and we were feeling tired at the end.
I know. And people now demanding. They demand so much. But I do have a Willem Dafoe movie pitch.
Oh, good. Yes, please do that.
Yeah. It's only a little one. It was something me and Alex were talking about the other day. It's called Die on My Dick Tonight. Willem Dafoe stars as a guru, a lifestyle coach, a teacher of men. I'm a guru and a lifestyle coach and a teacher of men. I bring happiness into everybody's lives. I'm Dr. Dick. Man. Dr. Dickman. MD. And he has a very successful practice. He teaches a lot of New Age therapy. Particularly deals with like terminally ill people, helps them move on with their lives. The depressed, the suicidal. And he has therapy with them. One of his patients is a character called David Boreanaz, played by Matt Borealis. Or was that the other way round? I don't know.
Wow. Yeah, I really got that mystified me.
It's just confusing now, isn't it?
Interesting, though.
So let's just say a man who looks a lot like Angel from the hit TV series Angel. He's sad about his life because he thinks he's a vampire. He's not. But he wants to know. He's got very bad depression, and he is dying of pineapples.
What?
Just pineapples growing inside him. He's just like, oh, doctor, pineapples are in it. And it's like, oh, God, this is the worst case of pineapples I ever seen. It's the far future of 2013. And lots of mutant illnesses happen.
It's 2013.
Pineapples is one of these far future diseases where, like, little pineapples grow inside your body, and then they get bigger and bigger and bigger and, like, cut your heart with their sharp spines on their epidermis.
Ooh, that does sound like a terrible disease.
Awful disease. And Matt Borealis has it. And he is sad and thinks there's no future because he A, thinks he's a vampire, B, is depressed, and C, pineapples. And he's been working with Dr. Dickman for a long time. Just sort of, he's been helping him accept fate, understand that, he's not long for this earth. He's in a lot of pain. He's not happy. And after a long time, this is what Dr. Dickman does. Like, once he's reached a level of understanding and trust, and he's not sure he can help them anymore, because some people just can't accept and deal with the issues they have in life. He sits down with Matt Borealis and he's like, hey, Matt Borealis, star of TV's Angel. Do you want to die on my dick tonight?
No, you don't say that.
There's a reason.
Dr. Dickman.
There's a reason for it.
Okay.
Because when I was a young boy, I was cursed. I was cursed by a village shaman from the jungles of Boo.
This is not a okay. So you're a patient. You're dying of pineapples, but you're dying of something.
Yeah.
And your doctor
Yeah.
asks if you want to die on his dick tonight. You leave. But maybe he could stop you and be like, no, seriously, hear me out. It's not how it sounds. And then he just starts talking about his childhood, and you're supposed to be like, oh, well, in that case, sure, shaman. I mean, come on. All right, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Suspend your disbelief.
I am trying to. I will do it.
This is a world where pineapples scratch your heart.
That convinced me. Anything's possible when it comes to medical illnesses. They're coming up with new, just white ooze will come out of the sewer and eat you. I don't know if you've heard about that.
No.
Stuff is real now, yeah.
Well, there you go. This is the year 2013 where white ooze eats people and you get pineapples in your lungs. Anyway. So,
shaman.
I was coached by a shaman because I stole all of his pogs and I sold them to eBay.
There's still no reason to die on a man's dick that night.
No, because this is... listen, Matt Borealis. I see you're trying to suspend your disbelief. So allow me to upend your belief. The curse says that anybody who I have sex with will die mid-coitus. But in a very peaceful way. It's quite good for them. It's annoying for me. And I thought, why not turn this curse into a blessing and use my deadly dick to heal the world? Healing the world with my deadly dick. You up for a terminal dicking or what? And Matt Borealis is like, well, I find this hard to believe. Oh, God. But I'll tell you what, Doc, I'm willing to try anything. And he pulls down his...
Wait, no, try it. He's got very little time left.
He takes off his
The
belt.
one thing he knows will kill him is Dr. Dickman's cursed penis.
Well, it's basically euthanasia.
I'll try anything. Kill me with your magical evil dick. No, that's not the... Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate the feedback. You help me structure it as I go. So anyway, this guy, Borealis has tried everything. There's no cure. He's in pain. He is sad and thinks he's a vampire. He wants to die. And Dickman, in his state, euthanasia is legal, and he offers the best way to die.
Not the chemicals that calmly and even relaxing soothe you.
Well, that's the thing. Euthanasia is legal, but the oppressive government took away all drugs that are used in euthanasia.
Took them away?
Yeah.
To the shack, to the warehouse?
Locked them in a shed, yeah.
That's a very valuable shed. I'm sure that people are trying to break in a lot.
But the shed orbits the Earth. So you can't get to it, even with a big ladder. They've tried. There's a scene where Brendan Fraser is like, well, I'm going to go up there and get it. And he gets a stepladder and climbs up about 5 feet in the air and says, well, that's not high enough. Get some bricks. Get some bricks and I'll climb up this ladder, yeah.
I'm picturing him falling off the ladder and a pineapple pressing against the inside of his chest, and you see it spiky. And
yeah.
Oh God.
Pineapples. He's got almost like that scene in Aliens where the chest burster comes out of Ripley and stretches her skin. Just a big pineapple-shaped wad of flesh comes out of Brendan Fraser's open-shirted chest, and then he clutches it and goes, ah! And then sees the shed orbiting overhead and just shakes his fist at it and says, damn you, euthanasia shed! I'll get you yet! And then it goes back to Dickman and Matt Borealis. And he's like, well, euthanasia's legal, but the evil government in its ironic ways says I can't kill you with any drugs. But there's no rule against my terminal tickler. So get your pants off and let's do this. And Matt Borealis takes his pants off and his shirt, and he's naked, totally naked. And Willem Dafoe is naked, totally naked, and lies on his back, and he's got his big penis. And TV's Angel squats over him and lowers while it just goes, I just died on your dick tonight.
Is that the music or is that Angel singing?
I should have been giving you head. I just died on your dick tonight. And, yeah, let's have Matt Borealis sing it. He's, sweaty, just like, too sweaty for some reason. Just like, dripping wet. And he's only been on the dick for like 3 seconds. And he's just sweating and it's pouring off him. He's got his hands behind his head. And his eyes are closed, and his head's just rocking backwards and forwards, and he's going, I just died on a dick.
He's dying. This is the end of his life. This is that time when you look back and think, oh, I should have done this, and I'm so happy this happened, and oh, love, oh, childbirth, oh, got through college. No. He's got his head rocking back and forth, I assume eyes closed.
Yeah, loving it.
Hands behind his head, just working himself to death. That was his doctor. This is a medical procedure that he's decided to sing through.
Yeah. Matt Borealis, you're skewering yourself silly on my turgid death stick. Hey, Matt, wanna die on my dick tonight? And Matt Borealis says, yes, I do. And then just sort of peacefully looks like he's falling asleep. Just, like that, and just slops off.
And dies?
Very peacefully. Lands on the floor and curls into a fetal position and turns green.
Whoa.
And then it looks like all cracks are forming over his body, but it's not, because the cracks separate and they're leaves. And he's just turned into a pile of leaves that just blow off on the wind. And one leaf just sort of flies near Willem Dafoe, and he catches it in his hand, just snatches it out of the air, and just kisses the leaf. Good night, sweet prince. And lets the leaf fly away and joins the others. And then the leaves whirlwind around outside the office and fly up into the sky. And you just hear Matt Borealis' ghostly voice just say, I'll see you in heaven now.
Whoa! I was sure there was going to be a twist ending where the penis was a cure, and that, like the story of Job. I believe that's the one in the Bible where Job's like, well, I guess I'll be tortured by God, and this will be terrible. And then God's like, oh, you really do love me. You don't love me just for the treats that I give you. You love me for me. Well, then you're going to be fine. That doesn't happen to Matt Borealis. He really dies and turns into leaves.
It doesn't happen to doesn't happen to the next 5 characters that this happens to either.
That's not the end of the movie.
Which different ones come in. Sandra Bullock is next. She comes in. She's also ill. Pineapples.
Again?
Yeah, guts. It's like an epidemic. I'll tell you what, you want to die on my dick? And she's all like, yes. And then, and she falls down. And, the whole, more or less the same thing happens, but she sort of sloughs off and eyes closed, smile on her face. She's happy. She's gone peacefully. She's gone the way all of us want to go. And she falls on the floor and turns white. And it looks like there's all cracks all over her, but it's not. Because her body just sort of falls down flat. Because it's a pile of marbles now. Just glass marbles now. And they just roll off, and they roll under the door of the office. And there's one little marble left behind. And Willem Dafoe just snatches it out the ground. And just puts it in his mouth. And swills it around a bit. And then pulls it out, and there's like a bridge of spit between his lower lip and the marble. And he just pulls it like that. And he just goes, good night, sweet prince. And puts the marble on the floor like that and gives it a little tap on its head. and it rolls away, and you just hear Sandra Bullock just saying, "I'll see you in heaven now," and it goes away.
She was a prince?
Yeah, sweet prince, and she's in heaven now. And then this happens constantly, all the time, and in between each scene, you've got Brendan Fraser with a bigger ladder trying to get up to the euthanasia shed to get the drugs, so that people around the world are free to die naturally and peacefully instead of pineapples. And this is obviously a big metaphor for America and its war on terror.
What?
And at the end, Brendan Fraser eventually gets a ladder big enough to go up into the shed. He climbs up there. Dun 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 dun. Brendan Fraser's climbing a ladder. Dun 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 dun. Gonna go to the shed in space. Dun 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 dun. And he goes through an atmosphere of just leaves and marbles that are just they make up the ozone layer of Earth now. And he's climbing through them. And he gets to the shed. And he says, "At last, I can euthanize myself instead of dying on a dick tonight." And he opens the shed, and inside is Willem Dafoe, naked, greasing his dick. And he just says, "What? There's no such thing as euthanasia drugs. Do you want to die on my dick instead?" And Brendan Fraser says, "Oh, you are the government." "Yes, that's right.
What? Oh, he is the whole government? Dr. Dickman?
I really let this one go on too long.
No, you can make this. You can tie this up. I believe you can make this right. He was Obama the whole time?
Yeah. That's just it. He opens the shed. Willem Dafoe's in there, naked, with a penis as long as a horse's leg. And it's just like snaking around and snapping about in the shed, and he just looks at Brendan Fraser and goes, "Ah, I am Obama!" And that's the end. And he closes the shed and climbs back down the ladder and just says, "It's pineapples for me."
He just would rather die from pineapples.
He would rather die. He was the one man who didn't want to die on a dick that night. And the message of the story, because that's what happens, is it fades to black, and then text comes up, a famous, an inspiring quote that says the message of the movie, and it is, "All it takes is for one good man to not die on a dick tonight."
He's the hero for not turning into marbles or leaves happily?
Yeah.
That's good.
That was very personal for me, that one. I feel drained, but I feel good.
Good.
That
like
was
died on a dick tonight.
I feel like I've died on a dick tonight.
Well, I'm going to launch into the questions.
Yes.
Press tweet. I pressed it. A little circle happened. The tweet has been posted. I don't know if people still like doing Podtoid questions. Had somebody ask if they could email me ahead of time to do a really long question. He's like, "I've got a really long question. Can I email you before you do the questions?" And it's flattering that he wants to ask us anything. It was, I believe it was Patrick. This is a few tweets down. I want to be doubly sure. But I said you can't do that, because then everybody would, either I'd have to cheat and give people special treatment, or everyone would be able to email me all the time any question that they have. And I've gotten a lot of strange emails lately. I can't remember if I mentioned on the show last week that somebody PM'd me as soon as I got to E3. I was jet lagged and exhausted, and I sit down, I set up the computer because I think a press conference was already going on. I got a PM. I'm thinking, oh, this better be important. And it's a guy being like, "Holmes, I can't stop thinking about cheating on my wife.
Oh my god.
I really need your help. I started an account on a dating website, and then I erased it, but now I'm tempted to start it again." And then there started being really funny typos in there after that, so it was hard to take it seriously. And I think his name was like Giant Flashcard. Which I was just, why Giant Flashcard? Why are you? We've never met. Why he was asking me for advice? It was very flattering, but I am not the man or the person to help him.
Well, I think
Still haven't responded to him. Sadly, I should.
They want free therapy from you now.
Giant flag through PMs.
Yeah.
Through Destructoid's PM system, I'm supposed to explain to him. And I don't know why he wants to cheat on his wife. Maybe they just got married. He said, "I don't know." Giant flashcard.
Jesus
I hope
just got married.
Yeah, and he's like, the responsibility is getting to him or something. I should have helped him in his marriage. I admit it. He's true.
He's probably killed everyone in the house, including himself now.
I started a PM back to him, but I was dead tired, and then I think...
Your time's your own.
Well, Destructoid had just flown me out to E3. I felt like I better write about video games that night.
Yeah.
And to cover some press thing.
I get it a lot. I've actually asked Nero to make the PM button less visible. Not because I don't want to talk to people.
but you get a lot, yeah.
People I don't think... Because obviously they're sending one PM. They're sending one private message, and they think that's all that is happening, because that's all they see. That's their transaction. But it happens a ton, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And unless it's like the guy who said, next time you're in London, I look a bit like the guy from that Snakes on a Plane music video with the long hair that you like. Do you wanna bang? I will spend all of my time on those types of messages. Anything else, I'm probably not going to get to. And I get a lot of messages, whether I get emails, PMs, Facebook messages, and Twitters, and I try and respond, but I get so many. And, especially if it's people who just want to have an argument or like a private one-on-one debate about something,
sure.
I can't do it. And the same goes with Jonathan here. He can't be dispensing personal one-on-one therapy.
I wanted to, but I wasn't prepared. I wasn't properly armed for the task, and there's other stuff I had to do that I could actually do well. I could write about video game LeBron James that night. I couldn't give you really good advice about you wanting to cheat on your wife that night.
Yeah, it's not that we're not willing, guys. We will help you cheat on your other halves as much as you want.
I wanted to explain to him his feelings, maybe, but I don't know what they are. I certainly don't want him to cheat on his wife. That'll be bad for everybody involved. I was actually going to send him a game called I Cheated on You. You guys should look it up. It's a Twine game. It's pretty fun. It's a cute little narrative, depressing, sorrowful, realistic, but cute, because Twine is inherently cute to me. And it's about someone who cheated on their girlfriend. You should just play that. That is my advice to you, Flashcard Jones. But the questions are in. Should I do them?
Let's do them!
Do it!
Well, Curtis Bonds is number 1 at the list right now. And this is something I've wanted to bring up anyway, so it's perfect. Thank you, Curtis Bonds. He asks, does it bother you guys that there aren't too many Wii games in the future, Wii U games, I'm sorry, that utilize the features of the gamepad? Meaning, there aren't too many Wii U games coming up where you, like Zombie U, you're playing on the TV, but you need to use the gamepad screen for other stuff simultaneously, and it kind of makes you feel like it's that special feature that only the Wii U can do. Every single Wii U game I played at E3 had off-TV play, which was good, but none of them did any funny tricks with the gamepad. What do you guys think about that? Care or not care?
Well, I mean, it happened with the Wii. It's to be expected, For me, the biggest feature of the gamepad has always been it's just nice to hold for a big-handed guy like me.
Mm-hmm.
I like the feel of the Wii U gamepad. I like how it feels for all sorts of different games. And I'm also not a big fan of using something in a way that is only useful for exploiting technology and doesn't actually make the game better. Having to stop and start and lift the gamepad and move shit around, or stop playing the game to put in fiddly fucking codes and shit on the touchscreen, that just takes me out of the game. It doesn't make it more immersive or whatever it is they try and tell you it is.
Well, you did like Zombie U, but it didn't do that all the time.
Zombie U did it well, that's the thing. And I just don't trust most games to do that kind of shit well, and I'd rather them just not be innovative at all than be innovative in a bad obtrusive, look at me, show-offy way. So I'm not that sad about it. It's, you buy a Nintendo console, chances are good you're there to play Nintendo games, regardless of what the controls are. And, some of us just want to be Princess Peach in a snuggly, dumpily catsuit and run around and do a scratching and do a climbing up a wall. So, I don't need to wave a gamepad around or swipe on a touchscreen to enjoy that. So I'm not that bummed about it.
It's interesting to me that the Wii U is doing so many of the things that people wanted the Wii to do. It's cutting out the gimmicks pretty quickly. There's a few games that were coming out that seemed like they were trying to wow you with some new trick. It's just like, this is a video game. It is good. Play it. The online system for the Wii U is pretty good. The graphics are pretty good. It's there's a lot of things to like about it, yet it's not getting much attention still. Yeah. People are kind of ignoring it at this point still. And personally, I think that I read a Time article that thought, well, maybe they should just make a Wii U that is cheaper, is a good $100 or more cheaper, that just has a regular controller then. Maybe they should give people that option to do that, and it would be a huge deal because as it is now, the user interface requires the gamepad, and quite a few, like Nintendo Land and stuff, wouldn't work at all. But I don't know. I wonder.
That dooms the handheld. That's the absolute killing blow to the gamepad.
But does it save the Wii U from, like, let's say this year goes by?
Who cares? Who cares? Nintendo's got $10 billion in the bank. They don't care.
I don't.
Like, they care in so much that they want it to be successful, but they could screw up a couple of consoles at this rate. Sure. The 3DS is still making tons of money. There's no reason for them to abandon this just to save the Wii U.
Well, not like today, but let's say this year goes by with the Super Mario 3D World, with Pikmin 3, with Wonderful 101, with Donkey Kong Country Returns, Tropical Freeze, all these games, and they still, none of them sell, and it's still floundering. Still just barely squeaking by, like PS Vita style. Then at that point, like next year, if you're Nintendo, do you say, all right, we give up on this gamepad thing? Sorry.
No. If you're Nintendo, what you do is you find a way to make it a little smaller with a slightly bigger screen and a little cuter, and you sell it again.
The Wii U Lite, you're suggesting?
I mean, Nintendo's got a very bullheaded approach to these things. If it sees defeat, it will just keep doing it. It will just keep...
And eventually they will win. They'll have another victory at some point. I can't see them dropping. If anyone was going, and it's like, okay, Microsoft and the Xbox One and Kinect, I hear the same argument about people, that's the thing to complain about, the $100 price difference, and people saying, oh, we can eliminate that by just make Kinect optional. You can't. You can't make Kinect optional. Not if you want to have Kinect. If Microsoft wants Kinect to be a thing, they have to make it part of the standard package. The minute it becomes an accessory, it's dead.
Yeah, not to mention in the Wii U's case, it will just fracture the market now, and the last thing it needs is the market fractured some more. The Wii U's already out. If they then brought out one without the gamepad, like Conrad said, it'll die, because no one will want to produce something for a peripheral that may or may not be the default package. Mm-hmm. And this is why the PlayStation Move didn't work out so well, because it was released so late into the PS3's lifespan.
Well, and the Wii Motion Plus, Nintendo even integrated that in, but there's only like 6 games that require Motion Plus, and maybe 15 that use it at all.
Yeah, we even see this on the 3DS with the Controller Pro thing. It's like,
oh my god.
Yeah. People don't want to waste time supporting that shit because they just don't know if they're going to get their money's worth out of it. Because it's a fractured market, especially in a market that's already fractured in terms of saturation of entertainment. You don't want to be making that situation even worse for yourself.
Well, what about like a soft relaunch? Like, we give up on the gamepad completely. Sorry, guys. Bad idea. Now you just get a
No, you
$200.
see, there you go. You just said the one thing Nintendo will never say.
Well, what you do? What would you do that though, Conrad?
Would I?
Are you
No.
the type of guy who'd be like, yeah, I guess not?
No, I would not do that. They have the money to have a bad generation or two.
Mm-hmm.
Their investors, by and large, have figured out that they are long-term positive.
Mm-hmm.
They're fine. Just go through this generation, work on the next console. Keep making your Nintendo products. That audience will be satisfied. That Nintendo audience is going to come around. It may be later in the gen. They're going to come and buy one once you can make it cheap enough and the library is there of core Nintendo products. If the goal really needs to be to try and get more Wii units in the homes with their games. That's what always does it. The features, it doesn't matter at this point. They can't cut it and fracture the market. They have to just drive through.
Well, that was decided. Great deciding, you guys. I enjoyed every second of that deciding conversation. 44 questions came in.
Jesus Christ.
I know there was one more.
We need to decide more quickly.
No, it was good. That was an exciting conversation. Christian Alaricon, who is Eternal Deadman on Twitter, says, I can't get over The Last of Us. Talk some more about it. Are you guys talking about it? He just wants to keep thinking about it.
Oh, yeah, that also came up in the Road to Hell review thread.
Oh, really? The Last of Us?
Yeah, just people who can't let go of things. That's what I presume he's making light of.
I'm reading so many people. No, a lot of people are just getting through The Last of Us, at least on my Twitter feed right now. I'm reading just other companies retweeting about how much they love The Last of Us.
The Last of Us!
Yeah.
Sorry, it's late in the day. I was thinking of The Last Story.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because that came up today.
You kind of liked it, but not really. It's not easy.
Yeah, so, no, The Last of Us, yeah, that's a good game.
People are saying it is the best game. They're freaking out. They're saying, this is the game. This is the game, you guys. You should buy a PS3 just for this game right now.
I was hanging out with Anthony Carboni the day before it came out at E3, and we're just sitting there having drinks, and he's like, "Oh yeah, people are talking about this, but tomorrow, the conversation's going to change entirely about narrative. Wow. I mean, it's totally going to change." And I was like, "Jesus fucking Christ, settle down."
A lot of people are saying it.
Yeah,
the guys who made Papa and Yo. Yeah, I know, I'll never get that right. They're talking about it, and a lot of people are. Yeah, they're putting their game and The Last of Us in kind of the same category of like talking about things in games that are farther than other mainstream games have done.
Well, I think The Last of Us's biggest strength, what it did that no one else really does, and I will definitely put this against Heavy Rain and these other games that boast strong narrative and stuff. What The Last of Us does that so few video games have ever even attempted to do is subtlety. The Last of Us, it has mushroom zombies and shit, but the genuine moments, the genuine character moments, the actual relationships between characters, the way people are feeling, it's done with nuance. It's done with subtlety. It can be something as small as the way the main character Joel inclines his head, the way Ellie says something in a certain tone, uses a certain tone of phrase. These guys aren't just voice acting, and the character models aren't just animating. It's a cohesive performance. They're performing. They're doing what video game characters don't do. They're performing, and with a performance, subtlety is everything. It's what makes a story believable. It's what makes us believe these people are characters or are actual people rather than just avatars to control. There is an amazing degree of depth to The Last of Us, and it isn't. And when I say depth, I don't mean needlessly complex or says certain words on a list of words that make us sound mature. I mean actual depth, actual fleshed out characters in a fleshed out world where small things matter. And that's why The Last of Us is being considered, rightfully, in my opinion, an important step in game narrative.
It makes sense that Naughty Dog cut their teeth on big, kind of ridiculous stuff like Uncharted, but added so much craft to it to elevate it beyond what people had seen before in terms of at least trying to ape the style you see in movies. And people had a lot of respect for the characterization in Uncharted, even though the actual content of the story and the way the gameplay fuses with what characters are feeling and thinking, there's some stuff to complain about there, but those seem like the perfect kind of practice games. They're safe enough. They deal with a kind of material that's already very palatable to people. People are ready to absorb just like a big dumb action movie, and that's where you could hone your craft around the kind of stuff they did, and then do something a lot more risky, a lot less feel good and like entertaining, like The Last of Us. It's a pretty. I haven't finished it, but it's pretty feel bad. It's not trying to give you a roller coaster ride for the most part. It's
Sure.
You're in trouble. This feels awful.
But again,
this is a real person that's going to be so sad if you fail.
But again, like any real story concerning real people, it isn't just depressing all the time. Characters will crack jokes. There are moments of levity. Ellie in particular, she's likable because she has these upbeat moments, and moments between her and Joel are like uplifting. And that's another trap games fall into sometimes, where they want to be dark and they want to be mature, and they think that means just being depressing 24/7 with unlikable characters who are just miserable and just complain and just look sad all the time. And again, it speaks to that total lack of fucking nuance, total lack of subtlety that has been like a millstone around the neck of video game story. And that's, again, something The Last of Us nails so perfectly. It alters the mood in such a way that it's thematically consistent. It's always going to be muted. It's always going to be a lot more intimate in terms of what people are saying and how they interact. But at the same time, there is a very real difference in tone between certain moments, certain scenes, certain interactions. And it takes only a hair's breadth to alter the mood while keeping it consistent. But hair's breadth is something the video game industry as a whole has no concept of. And The Last of Us has introduced that concept.
Sounds awesome. I can't wait for the sequel. The other Last of Us, more Last of the
Yeah.
the final Last of Us.
Oh wait, there's some others.
That would be cute. Taylor Martin, who is at the local flavor, but I think he's asked several Podtoid questions, and I think he's changed his Podtoid name changed his Twitter name over the course of asking. No, that's not true. There's two guys with the exact same Willem Dafoe picture who are obsessed with you, Jim. There's also Gareth Boyle, who is so many biscuits. Anyway, I'm going to do the other guys. Sorry, Gareth Boyle. Because this other man, Taylor, it's his 18th birthday. Isn't that great? It only happens once in life, guys. You only turn 18 once. Anybody can be 19, anybody can be 17, but he can only be 18 once. He wants Jim to give him a funny name, like Chicken Chungus, which he thinks is funny. Or Freaky Constantina, he said. Give him a name like that, because he's 18 now.
And then when you're 18, you get your new name.
That's right, from you. He wants it.
Got
a name for the local flavor?
Tutankhamun Bean Dunkus. That's bean, as in coffee bean, hyphen Dunkus.
Tutankhamun Bean Dunkus?
Tutankhamun, like the Egyptian pharaoh, Bean Dunkus.
That was very great for him. He is happy now. Geez, so many other questions. How many more do you guys want to do? You name it, I'll do it.
A million.
A million more. Well, we could probably do that if you want.
Probably could.
Get cracking.
Yeah.
Daniel XRO wants to know, what's your favorite game of 2013 so far? Last of Us?
I guess it would have to be The Last of Us so far for me.
I haven't even played The Last of Us at all because I had to make a choice. It was that or Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Whoa, what an interesting choice.
And then when I showed the wife video of The Last of Us, she was like, "That game looks really unattractive." Like it was not a great stream of the content. I think it was we were watching one of the Sony pre E3 events or something, and she's like, "Oh God, that looks ugly." And it's like, well, it's supposed to. I mean, no, I mean, it's graphically. No, it's just the stream. The game looks gorgeous. Trust me, I promise, sweetie. But then when it came to light that she could be the mayor of a town in Animal Crossing, that was the end of that conversation. So...
Yeah, it is a magical game, Animal Crossing. Are you liking it at all, Conrad?
It's Animal Crossing. I'm not far enough into it because unfortunately she became the mayor and has yet to return to the town. So she's just got her tent up and none of the cool stuff that needs to kind of be started by the mayor has started happening. But yeah, I like Animal Crossing. It's fine.
I would say my first 20 minutes or maybe even my first day with Animal Crossing New Leaf, I'm like, oh, it's just Animal Crossing again. And then someone was like, dude, you heard about Perfect Fruit?
Yeah, I know. What? You and your Perfect Fruit. I actually had Perfect Fruit. Had Perfect Fruit, my first tree I shook.
What?
Shook out, perfect orange, went, planted it. I got a perfect orange tree growing. It's already produced fruit.
That's incredible. My wife also had that, but she sold the fruit. And then Spencer Hayes, the lovely Spencer Hayes, who we spent a lot of time with at E3, he got a perfect pear. He gave it to me, planted it in my town, because I was very sick at E3 and he felt badly for me. Turns out, guys, you can't plant perfect fruit in somebody else's town. It just grows crappy fruit. Doesn't work. They knew you were going to try that.
Well, I wonder, can you give gifts to people through, like, can you give gifts through mail to people in other towns still? Is that an option?
Not over the internet, I don't think, but I haven't tried that actually, so. But I don't think that would work. No,
a way to make it work.
They specifically made it so your perfect fruit will only grow in your ecosystem, in your town. And your perfect fruit tree dies. You know that tree's going to die, right?
Okay.
You got to save at least one perfect fruit, Conrad. Or else that tree's going to die.
I've already planted another perfect fruit, and I don't care that much.
Too. You gotta care. This is important. Animal Crossing is more important than anything else.
Okay, yeah,
have you got a wetsuit yet?
If this show wasn't going to cause people to think that you have lost touch with reality up to this point,
no, I'm totally in reality. Animal Crossing's way better. Have you got a wetsuit yet?
No.
It's important. So anyway, Animal Crossing is my favorite game of this year. I love it so much. It's great, man. Yeah. So many little surprises. We just are opening up our dance club now, run by a psychiatrist who is like some sort of weird squid-headed guy. I'm still trying to figure out what Dr. Shrunk is. Do you guys know? Thinking about Dr. Shrunk, you guys?
He's a prick.
Another question. Let's see. Are any of the Podtoid crew into wrestling games? Some of us are into wrestling, but do you guys like wrestling video games all that much?
I used to.
Yeah, something that you can only spend so many years on wrestling video games, I think. That's my opinion.
They eventually got, paranoid about not being innovative enough, which normally gets people in the end. Mm-hmm. And the last one I played, it was on SmackDown vs. Raw, was just rubbish. Like, oh, excuse me, sneezeums. I did a sneeze. Thank you. Like I played one on the Xbox 360, and it was trying to do too much at once, and I didn't like it. The last one I really liked was when it was just I think it was just SmackDown on the PS2. I used to love the shit out of that, but that was the last one I really got into. The more recent ones, there's something about them. There's something about them that doesn't have the kind of simplicity I used to enjoy from them.
Yeah. I feel like that scratch. Like how with Animal Crossing, you played New Leaf and you were like the feeling of discovery, of newness, of really being there and wondering what would happen next in that world. You didn't have that as much with New Leaf, even though technically did everything all right. Same with the wrestling game. Even if you try to innovate, it's just going to take away from what you like about wrestling. But at the same token, what you like about those games you've already experienced so many times, it's hard to go back again. That's how I feel about them. How about you, Conrad? Do you ever like a wrestling video game?
No, not
Pro
particularly.
wrestling?
No, I'm not competitive in that way. I think I just don't. I liked watching wrestling as a kid in like the height of WrestleMania of Hulkamania,
Mm-hmm.
and that was there's something kind of larger than life and fascinating about it. And then as an adult, I liked watching people watch wrestling because I thought that was really interesting that these grown men would find this to be entertaining. Beer helps, and then but the games never did it for me.
Yeah, fair enough. Super Newt 51, who is also Nick on Twitter, says, "Do you think with the Supreme Court ruling today, we might start seeing devs bring more same-sex topics into their games?" For those who don't know, the Supreme Court ruled that same-sex marriages will be recognized, I believe, by the federal government. Is that right? The ones that are legal in the respective states, the federal government will now recognize and help. That's what I believe I read today. So yeah, gayness. It is getting more normal for the world. Pretty cool.
It's all getting a little less queer.
It's going to be really interesting to see if game developers are going to try to... sounds so cynical, but the first word that comes to my head is cash in. Whether they're going to be like, well, this is acceptable now. Cater. They know there's an audience for it. They know that it's going to be getting closer to like it's going to shock the people who are afraid of it, but not. The tide is turning in that direction, so it's not going to. They're not going to have a unanimous attack from all of culture at them anymore because people's minds are slowly changing, it seems like. Even President Obama said he started to get less distanced from the idea and is now an active supporter of gay marriage, whereas before he said he was on the fence about it. So
because, well, yeah, he's never got to run for anything else the rest of his life.
Right. And so many other people are saying they want to support it, but they didn't want to because they're afraid everybody would hate them. And now that they're seeing that you can get away with it and not get hated.
Provided you never have to run for anything ever again the rest of your life.
I think he said he was for gay marriage before.
I was for gay marriage before I was ambivalent on it.
I think it was before his second election that he came out and actually said he supported a thing instead of...
I think that's true, yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
Totally right.
I think so. But anyhow, do you guys think that's going to affect game developers very much?
I don't know if it'll... I don't think today's ruling will have a direct effect on it. I think just the fact that the gaming community is being a lot more socially conscious and a younger generation of people are more involved in games now. I think it's just a natural thing. I think it's just naturally that we're seeing LGBT stuff come up in games a lot more, and that's a good thing. It's an awesome thing. I don't feel if you want to tell a particular story, you should feel forced to do anything that goes against the story you want to tell. I do think it would be very, very nice if in all games where you can create your own characters, that you are not just tied constantly to male, female, and straight. I want to see a lot more of what we see in Mass Effect and Skyrim also allowed for a lot more choice there. Or as far as gender goes, do what fucking Saints Row does, where it's just like you can be literally any gender you want, and by that we don't mean two, which I think is awesome. I think that's just a natural thing that's happening. I don't think that the ruling will have anything to do with that. I think that's just a separate, very nice thing that happened.
Yeah, I think it's a signifier of the times we're in, more than anything. But I don't see there being any real direct impact. And games are pushing those boundaries and have been for a long time, and we're getting smarter. It's going to head this way anyway.
Yeah, it's the direction things are going in. It'll be interesting to see if video games try to get ahead of that curve, or they stay behind it, or Or if you can even say that, like if you can even say video games as
I don't even know that you can get ahead of, or I mean, you can get behind the curve for sure, but I don't know that it's something you can get ahead of, because if no matter how far out there, you're really just riding the crest of a wave. You're still on part of it, but progressing it and pushing it forward is never a bad thing.
Yeah, it'll be fun to find out. People are asking so many questions about wrestlers. I just think that's interesting. So many, like, what would your wrestler name be? What are your favorite wrestlers? I don't think they know that they're doing this. But yeah, they're all asking about wrestlers. Do you even want to answer that? That's from CJ Steele. Chris Steele. He asks, if you guys were wrestlers, what would your names, entrance songs, and signature moves be? Also, would you be a face or a heel? I guess we'll take that question on. Why not? Patty Carr also wants to know, favorite wrestlers? Let's do all the wrestling questions.
Yeah, why not?
I like the way that you hesitantly asked whether or not this was something we wanted to do, and then made the decision for us.
Well, yeah, I realized after I asked, you can't really say no, then we wasted all this time.
This is a democracy until it isn't.
When I was a child, I was going to be a wrestler called the Milkman, and my older brother was going to be the Mailman. We were going to be a tag team partnership. I might have talked about this on Podtoid already. We were going to threaten Hulk Hogan to smash him on the head with mail bags and milk bottles and stuff. We were going to pretend to be his angry Milkman and Mailman. Do they even do Milkman anymore? Or is that just from like the old Andy Griffith show, like Leave It to Beaver? People don't deliver milk anymore.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
Yeah, we were going to be real pissed. Yeah. Oh, Hogan! Gonna fucking smash your face with the milk bag and the mail can, and you're not gonna like it. Sassy, angry, like the wrestlers do. So that I'm sticking with that. And my entrance song would be My Milkshake Brings All the Boys to the Yard, I suppose. Dance around to that, angrily smash Hulk Hogan with milk bag, mail can. How about you guys?
I'd be one of those manager assholes.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I mean, and there are I know there's such a thing as a heel and a face, but they sort of, I mean, there's no such thing as a face manager, no matter what anybody says one way or the other. They're taking 10%, they're assholes. They're all heels.
I think the closest Mean Gene was kind of a sidekick in the way that the managers are. He was the good guy. He'd always have to fight Mr. Fuji or Bobby the Brain Heenan, or I can't remember who the Iron Sheik hung out with, somebody. And people loved Paul Bearer, too.
Yes!
Did he ever threaten the Ultimate Warrior? I'm picturing him saying that. Ultimate Warrior!
Ultimate Warrior! My Undertaker's gonna do a thing!
When he died in wrestling, they weaved it into the storyline. And somebody, I can't remember who, like Shawn Michaels or someone, stole the urn that was supposed to be filled with Paul Bearer's ashes, and an old wobbly Undertaker got very angry at him, and Kane threw a coffin on a man or something. They have no limits in
no respect for any.
None. No, that's the way of showing respect, of being like, you're gonna live on in our storyline now, even if it means us dumping out your ashes and peeing on them or whatever. We live on in that. But Jim, what about you? Who would your wrestling? Who would you be?
The Jimquisition stuff's practically a wrestling persona as it is. As is the theme tune, practically a wrestling theme tune. So I'd probably just do all that.
It's not impossible that you could segue into professional wrestling from your ever-budding fame in the video game press. Yeah, could happen.
I'll go be a wrestler.
I would see it. I think a lot of people would. Well, Patrick Daggs asks, and he is at 6 come after 7, so he's someone who's into math. He asks, how do porcupines? ? How do porcupines? Why would you... He sees how many questions come in. He knows that it's
He
hard.
knows. He's hoping for this. Just the oxygen of publicity.
How do porcupines? Sweetly, I guess. I love them, porcupines. I think they're adorable. Some of my favorite characters in Animal Crossing: Mabel and Sable, the Able sisters. So good. Can I play Animal Crossing while we do the show from now on?
That's what I've been doing.
You son of a bitch. Writing your emails. Writing to Tabby. Sending her a sea bass. Internet man.
No, I was
Anyway.
just doing a little bit of fishing a few minutes ago.
It's hard to do that with the sound off. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I miss having a vibration. Obviously, there was one on the Wavebird, wasn't there? On the
Yeah, there was
GameCube
one on the
controller.
GameCube and the Wii version, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I miss having that, but
You get a
the noise I don't use. I keep the volume muted on my DS almost all the time anyway, so I just get used to it.
Oh, fair enough. Well, this is going to be the last question, I guess.
Okay.
Sam Tanian, who's Samius Tweetius on Twitter, he asks, what would be your perfect Pokemon for the new games? Let's twist that and make it more interesting. Do you guys think the Pokemon MMO would be that big of a deal? Or if not, what would your perfect Pokemon game be? Like, how would you want to see that series change or evolve? Or you can talk about a perfect Pokemon if you want. Whatever you want.
To be honest, I think if any MMO could come out now and be the kind of success people expected MMOs to be once upon a time, a Pokemon one would be it.
Yeah?
Pokemon Online. Call it Pokemon Online. That you can have that for free, Nintendo. I think that would be huge. And I am so cynical when it comes to MMOs because I think MMOs are fucking, it's so cornered now, a market, and I think everyone who chased it exhibited the exact kind of stupid, short-sighted, moronic, idiotic attitude that permeates so much of this industry. But if they announced a Pokemon MMO, I would be prepared to invest in that development. I would actually be prepared to invest and become a, get in on the ground floor of that, because that would be big.
Well, tell me why you think it would be. It's probably obvious to you, but for me, it's a mystery. I've never enjoyed MMOs all that much. Never understood like the feeling one gets from an enjoyable MMO. I understand cognitively what's good about them. Like I can see the bullet points and understand factually, oh yeah, people like this for this reason. But when I hear Pokemon MMO, I'm just like, oh, I'd probably skip that one, like how I did that weird puzzle game, Trozy or whatever it was called. I would skip the Pokemon MMO, but you think a lot of other people would get into it?
Absolutely. I
Is
mean,
that, yeah?
it would have to dispel the myth that a lot of developers have where they think MMO is a genre instead of a way of delivering game content. A lot of people think MMO is a genre. They think, oh, MMO, that means be exactly like World of Warcraft. No. The smart MMO realizes that it just means massively multiplayer online. That's all it means. It doesn't mean be an RPG exactly like WoW. You can have an MMO first-person shooter, you can have an MMO fucking, mech battle thing, whatever. And you can have an MMO turn-based RPG, why not? Have a world where instead of trainers that you meet out there that just stand still and wait for you and can be, avoided or whatever, have a perpetual living Pokemon world just populated by players that are all just wandering around and they can meet each other on the road on their way to certain towns and things and just spontaneously battle there and then, and you never even have to see that person again. And I think that would be very exciting for people, and I would imagine it working just like Pokemon, not like WoW, not like the Final Fantasy MMOs, but working like Pokemon. meet a guy, you can chat to a person, and boom, just throw out your Pokeballs and then have a turn-based round like you would a multiplayer Pokemon game, except, it's part of this persistent world. I think people would really go for that.
Well, it sounds like it would work for people like me who wouldn't care that much about playing online because it would just be a new Pokemon game that would be good.
Exactly.
Like, all right, I'll get that. And then for the people who love MMOs as a delivery system and just want to interact with people online in as large a capacity as possible, they'd love it too, I guess, or they'd at least try it.
Exactly. And imagine even, rather than set gym leaders, they're players.
Huh?
Rather than just, each town has a preset gym leader, actual players can fight to become the gym leader of that
That'd be
thing.
pretty cool.
That kind of stuff. I mean, that might be difficult. You might need multiple gym leaders to make sure that, you win the gym leadership of some place and never go back online and never get challenged. There'd have to be some way around that. But actual perpetual champions in various ways that you can beat and then take their championship and defend it and whatnot. All those kinds of things you can do in an MMO that you couldn't necessarily do in a solo game. I think that would be really exciting.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see. I bet if Dragon Quest X had done better, or if it starts to do better, Nintendo might have seen that as a new way of doing a spin-off for consoles, because they've tried every kind of Pokemon spin-off for consoles. They've done just the straight-up versus game. They've done a game with a little bit of a storyline, like Pokemon Coliseum. On the Wii, they did a few more action exploration-based games where you're actually playing Pikachu, kicking the ass of various Axews and whatnot. None of them took off very big. Doing an MMO on console for the Wii U, that could be a potential killer app for that thing. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they bone up on their trends and see that this MMO stuff's still pretty hot. Still bringing in the numbers. Sometimes
I think for the most part the MMO genre is as dead as fucking ditchwater. I shouldn't have said genre, but the MMO thing. So many things just came out and they wanted to beat WoW and didn't, and a lot of them have given up. And really, it's just WoW, and you've got the Old Republic kicking along, and the Elder Scrolls Online. But for the most part, I think most people have realised
it's not a bandwagon to jump on.
Yeah, not really. But again, that might be why the Pokemon thing would work so well, because now the market isn't as saturated as it was. Mm-hmm. And I think there's still even though there's not a lot of strength in the WoW clone area of MMOs, I still think finding ways to present perpetual online worlds still has a lot of merit to it. I think there's still a lot to explore there. It's just we never fucking got off the ground floor. Mm-hmm. And I think Pokemon could come in and fill a hole that many players may not even know was there.
Well, there's a lot of diehard Pokemon players. Damien Sommer, who made the Yawg and I'm blanking on the name of his game. Friendship in Four Colors. That's it. He's a great guy. He loves Pokemon. He plays online all the time with homebrew Pokemon battle apps, and the audience for those is huge. It's never-ending entertainment for him. He's always thinking about new strategies and always finding new people to play with. And the amount of bang he gets for his buck, or in this case, lack of buck, because it's free, but he would pay, and a lot of Pokemon players would pay $60, $70, $80 for that depth of content. It
Absolutely.
just never ends. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. We just saved Nintendo, guys. Twice in the same show, actually.
Yeah.
Conrad saved them earlier, and you just saved them again. It was awfully nice of you guys. All right, I'm going to wrap up the thing, I guess.
Let's
Should I wrap
do
it up? Okay. What do I have going on this week? This Sunday, Holly Pickering. Is that how I say her name? Gosh darn it. By this time in the show, my brain is all foggy. She is a video game developer working on something called Ether 1. She used to work, I believe, at Traveler's Tales. Oh, I'm getting all my facts wrong. I feel terrible. I did get her name right, Pickering. I normally get it all right, but I just doubt myself like a doubter. She did work at Traveler's Tales as an artist, character design artist. Now she's gone out on her own. She's got a very interesting story. She got into big name game development right out of college, or I think she might have actually been in college. So her success story is one to watch and learn from. And she'll be on live on Sup Holmes this Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch TV. And we'll put a post up on Podtoid as well. As for a rerun, we're going to be having the rerun of last week's Sup Holmes that had terrible technical problems. I think what actually was shown was pretty good, but for whatever reason, we got started late. My computer kept kicking me out of the Google chat. And then it kicked Conrad out like mid-show, so we had to split.
Oh yeah, that was just my internet connection being dodgy.
That
wasn't their fault.
I'm sorry that happened. Anyway, he was great. That was with Rich, otherwise known as Disaster Piece. He is the composer for Fez and Fez 2, and Monsters Ate My Birthday Cake, and Robots Love Ice Cream, and Gun House. So many games. He's working on 12 games right now. He's one of the most prolific composers in the industry, very hardworking guy, very passionate guy. He's also working on trying to make his own games. He made a game called January that you can play. It's kind of a music tool / interactive thing. It's pretty neat. He was really good to know, really nice person, and interesting. A lot of insights on how to get into the industry and how to stay in the industry and grow in it. When it comes to success stories, I can't believe how big of a name he's become, and I'm happy for him for it. So that's with Disaster Piece. That rerun should be up soonish. Is it up already, Conrad? I didn't.
No, it's not up yet.
Thought I'd looked.
Soonish.
Yeah.
Soonish.
Yeah, probably before the Sunday. Probably before.
Oh yeah, definitely before this Sunday. Probably tomorrow.
Oh, good. Well, that's good.
Probably. I don't promise it, but probably tomorrow.
Well, what can you do? Last Sunday, we also posted a new episode of Teenage Pokemon. It is a show. It's a cartoon show. It's got Max Scoville is a very depressed Pikachu in it. It's got Anthony Carboni. They're both of Rev 3 games. Anthony Carboni plays trainer. He's a real son of a bitch in the show. This episode also was about E3 presentations. Very interesting response. Some people really didn't understand. They're just like, why is the man saying words over and over again? That's not a joke. And other people who got the context really liked it. And that was very flattering of them to say it was a biting satire of E3 presentation. So anyway, that one went up on Sunday. I hope people watch it and tell me what you think. And then this Sunday, we have an even bigger episode coming up because we have the original voice actor from the Pokemon anime, Eric Stewart, is reprising his role as Brock in this episode, which is so weird to have the real actor from Pokemon talking to Max Scoville and Anthony Carboni as they play characters from the Pokemon cartoon too. Big thing. And on top of that, we also have Pokemon version of the Game Grumps in this episode. And then one of the Game Grumps just quit. So now I'm like hustling to get the animator to change the animation at the last minute. Not sure if he'll be able to, but those frickin' Game Grumps screw me over. So many different ways they screw me over, those Game Grumps. Son of a bitch. Anyway, please watch that. It's going to be posted on Machinima this Sunday. I want to know what you think. And that's everything for me. How about you guys?
What have I done? Help! Over on escapistmagazine.com, Jimquisition is up. It was up this Monday. It is called... what was it called? Oh, fuck. I'm the worst. Completely forgotten.
You've got a rhyme down spectacular you can talk about while I go research what your Jim is.
Oh no, I've got it. It's called Why PC Gaming Gets Away With It.
That's right.
It was about why people aren't ragging on PC the way they ragged on Xbox One over used games and DRM and shit. I came up with many reasons, so go and look at that. Also on Rhyme Down Spectacular with myself and Yahtzee, also on The Escapist, This week he did a poem about the Xbox and the things you can't do with it, and I did a poem about David Boreanaz and why he should be called Matt Borealis, which the Escapist users have tried to find some deep, meaningful metaphor in, but no, I'm just doing a poem about David Boreanaz. And that's all I did on the Escapist. Over on Destructoid, my review of Ride to Hell Retribution is up. 1 out of 10, and even that's too much. I also did a review of the Ouya, a kind of review of the Ouya, which we talked about earlier in the show. You can go and look at that. And also, if you go to a website called gamingaswomen.com, I did an interview with Wundergeek, a feminist blogger who has said not the most flattering things about my work in the past, back when I was not the best writer, to be honest. And we talked about my changes as a writer, especially when it comes to dealing with gender issues and feminism and stuff in gaming. And it went very well. This person in particular was someone who I never expected ever in a million years to change her mind about me as a writer and as a person, and the fact that she did meant a lot to me. So that is a thing, and the interview itself means a lot to me, and I would like to thank everyone who has read it, especially on NeoGaf, who responded incredibly well to it, and yeah, it was a cornerstone, a milestone rather, sort of moment of my career to get to that point. So do check that out. It's on Gaming as Women. And that's more or less what I did this week. Conrad, what have you done, and what can we look forward to?
Oh, well, there's a new question out this week asking if people are happy with the reversal from Microsoft. Now, I'm surprised how many people aren't happy about it. Like, how many people are pissed off that, like, they backed down. That's still so strange to me. Although I do think that there's some misunderstanding. Anyway, interesting
this
video.
sudden backlash came from nowhere.
Yeah, nobody was trumpeting. Like, I didn't hear people all excited about this crap when they were, still going with it.
Yeah.
And now that it's happened, like, what? Yeah. So I don't understand where they all came out of the woodwork. But there's some really good discussion on that, both on Destructoid and on the YouTube channel. So go check those out. Let's see, we put up an office chat also about the Xbox stuff late last week. Jim was on that. That was quite entertaining. People really liked that on YouTube. Really liked it on YouTube. So you can check that out. And I'm working on a rant thing about Microsoft and Kinect and so forth that hopefully will get done by the end of the week here. And we've got video reviews coming. Hopefully Deadpool real soon. So that'll be up, and I think that's pretty much it for the moment. And this weekend, I'm going to do some charity live stream thing. I should find out what that is.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, some
follow you
giant...
on Twitter to find out. Shouldn't they?
Yeah, you probably should. That would be at Conrad Zimmerman. That would be the easiest way. I will announce that when I know exactly when that's happening. But that'll be this weekend. It'll be fun.
Awesome, dudes.
Okay.
And Jim, I didn't want to interrupt Conrad, but I was biting my lip, all excited to tell you that I read that interview, and it was so touching.
It was quite good.
Yes, it is touching. You're setting an example, a positive example for so many people out there. It's good, dude.
Thank you.
And I was surprised that I was maybe being defensive, but I thought the interviewer, she was being so critical of you, and then you were just like, "Yep, I used to be pretty crappy." I'm like, "No, you weren't. You were never crappy," because I've always liked you. So I was thinking, "No, he's great." But you were the first to admit you are not perfect. You're never going to be perfect, and all you can do is try. So
well, even outside of these issues, if you're a writer, there's no other attitude to have. Otherwise, you're never going to be better or good, even, I don't think. So,
sure.
Always evolve, always change, try to be less of an idiot as each day goes by. That's my philosophy. And
except on this show.
Yeah, this stays exactly the same. Wallowing in the muck. And we will wallow in some more muck next week. Thank you for listening, friends and lovers. We'll see you next time.
Lovers?
Yeah. Trying to be gender neutral. Can I say ladies and gentlemen on Podtoid too?
Oh, that's right.
So I say friends and lovers it's a nice flourish. It sounds classy, and everyone can appreciate that because everyone is our friend and our lover.
Everyone loves tongue roll too. I don't know how you do those. They're so good. I can't roll it.
Practice.